10 days before Thanksgiving, I found out that my daughter was planning to humiliate me. 10 days before Thanksgiving, I overheard my daughter, the one I once believed was my greatest blessing, planning to humiliate me in front of our guests. Her plan was cruel. She'd declare me mentally unfit and have me removed from my own home. Betrayal by blood is the deepest kind of wound. I didn't confront her. I simply changed my plans, turning her trap into mine. On November 27th, she called, her voice sugary sweet. "Dad, where are you? The guests are waiting." I laughed softly. "Look at my drawer." What she found made her scream, and her entire world fell apart. Justice, I've learned, is sweetest when it's served cold. The doctor's appointment had ended 40 minutes early. I pulled into my driveway at 3:15 instead of 5. Scottsdale was still warm that November, the desert sun bleaching everything pale. My knees ached from the drive. 68 years of life leaves its marks. I slipped in through the side door, the one that opens into the laundry room. Quiet. Habit. Jennifer always hated when I tracked dust through the house. Her house now, though I didn't know that yet. From upstairs, I heard voices. Jennifer's laugh first, sharp and pleased with herself. Then Brian's deeper tone. I paused at the foot of the stairs, hand resting on the railing I'd refinished 15 years ago. "Dr. Phillips signed everything," Jennifer said. "The assessment confirms progressive dementia. By Thanksgiving, we'll have a guardianship hearing scheduled." Brian's voice followed, low but clear. "And the house transfer documents? Once he's declared incompetent, you'll have full control. $680,000. We can finally pay off my debts and start fresh." The blood drained from my face. A cold, hollow feeling spread through me. Jennifer laughed. "The old man doesn't suspect a thing. He still thinks I'm his devoted daughter. 2 more weeks, and this house is ours." I stood there, frozen. My mind, trained by decades of engineering, began calculating. Load, pressure, structure. They were planning to strip me of everything. The house I'd built with my late wife, the independence I'd fought to protect, and the dignity I had left. I stepped back quietly, retreating through the laundry room and out the side door. In the garage, I sat in my car, staring at the steering wheel until my breathing leveled out. 20 minutes passed, maybe an hour. When I finally re-entered, they were in the kitchen. Jennifer looked up and smiled. The same smile I'd trusted for 38 years. "Dad, how was the doctor?" I forced a polite grin. "Fine. Just routine. How was work?" She turned back to chopping vegetables. "Same old insurance claims." "Oh, and you're still hosting Thanksgiving, right?" "I've invited some friends." I nodded. Brian's eyes flickered with something, guilt or suspicion. Maybe both. I said nothing, just watched them, every movement, every lie disguised as normal conversation. That night, after their bedroom door closed, I waited. At midnight, I slipped outside, dressed in dark clothes, a habit I never lost from my Navy years. I went through the trash bins in the garage one by one, methodical. Coffee grounds, junk mail, and then, in the recycling bin, between pizza boxes, legal papers. I smoothed them out with shaking hands. Petition for emergency guardianship and conservatorship in a matter of Robert James Gray, an alleged incapacitated person. My name, my life, my betrayal. One phrase circled in red ink. Subject demonstrates significant cognitive decline and poses danger to self. Lies. Cold, calculated lies. I sat there on the concrete floor, staring at my daughter's handwriting until the rage in my chest solidified into something harder. Purpose. At 2 a.m., I folded the papers, slid them into my jacket pocket, and whispered to the empty garage. "You want to play games, Jennifer? Fine. Let's play." 8 days until Thanksgiving. 8 days until their plan to destroy me. I opened the door and stepped inside. Dawn crept through the blinds, painting the room in gray-gold light. I hadn't slept. The guardianship petition lay across my desk like a crime scene file, which in a way it was. My engineer's mind was running on instinct now, analyzing, planning, calculating. I grabbed a notebook and started making lists. Assets, vulnerabilities, timeline, the house, valued at $680,000. Jennifer and Brian had lived here rent-free for 2 years. I did the math automatically. $2,000 a month times 24 months, $48,000 they owed me. And now they wanted it all. I opened the safe in my closet. Emily's birthday was still the combination, 3 years after she passed. Inside were my defenses, deed, bank statements, well, all in my name. The originals. They'd had access to everything for 2 years. They'd copied, forged, schemed, but I had the real ones. I compared the documents to the petition. They had it all. Medical reports, legal filings, witness statements. This wasn't an impulsive betrayal. It was deliberate, strategic, and that meant it could be countered. If they wanted the house, I'd remove it from the equation, sell it before they could take it. I opened my laptop and searched Arizona guardianship proceeding timeline. The results loaded painfully slow. 2 to 3 weeks after filing. That gave me 8 days, maybe less. 2 years, I whispered to myself. 2 years I gave him shelter. And this is how they repay me. I stared at the petition one more time. Then I stood. You want to play legal games? I built foundations for 40 years. I know how to dismantle them. At 8 o'clock sharp, I made my first call to a notary public in Phoenix. The woman on the line sounded young, efficient. I asked for an emergency appointment to verify my ownership and selling rights. She said she could see me at 10:30. Perfect. I photographed every page of the guardianship petition with my phone and uploaded them to the encrypted cloud folder Emily had helped me set up years ago. Then I carefully crumpled the originals, just as I'd found them, and returned them to the recycling bin. They couldn't know I'd discovered their plan. That was critical. On my notepad, I started a timeline. November 18th to Thanksgiving, November 27th. 9 days. I subtracted 1 for safety. 8 days to sell a house. Insane. Probably impossible. But I'd done impossible before. Arizona property law glowed on my laptop screen. I scrolled through the sections, reading the legal jargon I'd learned to interpret after decades of dealing with construction contracts. Then I found it. Clause 33.21. The property owner retains full rights to sell until the court officially declares incompetence. The petition wasn't a court order. It was just a petition. I was still in control, legally. Jennifer and Brian emerged from the guest bedroom at 9 o'clock. I was at the kitchen table with coffee and a newspaper, the perfect picture of routine. Dad, you okay? You look tired, Jennifer asked. I looked up at her, forcing a weary smile. Doctor's appointment yesterday wore me out. Nothing serious. You two have plans today. Brian studied me closely. You sure you're all right? You seem different. I kept my voice calm. Just thinking about Thanksgiving. Big family dinner. Should be memorable. They left at 9:30, Brian's truck rumbling down the driveway. I waited until they turned the corner before grabbing my documents and heading for Phoenix. The notary office was tucked between a nail salon and a tax prep service. Inside, Rebecca Pierce greeted me. Professional, mid-50s gray suit, sharp eyes. She examined my deed with care. Mr. Gray, this shows you as sole owner. You have the right to sell, but this timeline, it's very fast. I've learned my living situation is about to change, I said carefully. I prefer to control that change. Her professional mask slipped for a moment. If someone's pressuring you, no one is pressuring me. My tone was firmer than intended. I'm making a choice. Do you know a real estate attorney who's fast and discreet? After a moment's study, she handed me a business card. Mark Jenkins, best in Scottsdale for quiet, quick sales. Tell him I sent you. The card felt heavy between my fingers, embossed lettering, quality. I sat in my car for a long minute, staring at it. 8 days. Then I dialed the number. Jenkins Realty, this is Mark. Mr. Jenkins, I need to sell my house before Thanksgiving. A pause. That's 9 days away. I'm aware, I said evenly. Can you do it or not? I can have 3 serious buyers by tomorrow, if the price is right. Tomorrow. The word tasted like possibility. From there, I drove to a second office, the one Rebecca had recommended for legal work. The attorney, also named Rebecca, but younger, greeted me in a small conference room. She had sharp eyes behind frameless glasses. I spread the photographed documents on her table. She read in silence, her expression hardening. Mr. Gray, this petition claims you have advanced dementia, wandering at night, forgetting to eat. It's signed by Dr. Phillips. Did you ever see this doctor? Never met him, I said, anger tightening my jaw. How can this be legal? It's not, she said flatly. It's fraud. But proving it will take time. Time you don't have. What's my move? Legally. Sell everything, she said without hesitation. Today or tomorrow at the latest. Turn your assets into cash. They can't take what you no longer own. She scanned and saved her own copies, then handed me a form to sign. Limited power of attorney, she explained. In case your daughter tries to move faster than we expect. How much time do I have? I asked. She checked the court's online system. No filing yet. My guess, they'll wait until after Thanksgiving to ambush you. You have about 10 days, maybe less. 10 days. Less than 2 weeks to dismantle a lifetime. I called Mark Jenkins again from her office, putting him on speaker. Good timing, he said. I already have an interested investor from California. Cash buyer. Full price, $680,000. Can you be ready? Rebecca nodded. You have it, I said. Send the papers. I'll sign today. Your daughter lives with you, right? Will she need to sign anything? The deed has one name, mine, I said. She signs nothing. After the call, Rebecca handed me a folder. Everything you'll need. Sale authorization, new account details, my direct line. Keep this hidden. I took it, feeling the weight of it in my hands. Not just paper, power. My power. For 2 years, I'd been the confused old man in their story. Now I was rewriting the ending. My next stop was a Chase Bank 2 towns over. Not the Wells Fargo, where Jennifer had connections. I opened a new account, arranged the transfer for the sale proceeds, and made sure her name appeared nowhere. When I pulled into my driveway at 5:15, everything looked normal. I parked, walked in, and called out, I'm home, just like always. Jennifer appeared from the kitchen. Dad, where were you? I tried calling. My phone died, I said smoothly. I was at the library, then thinking about the Thanksgiving menu. We're still doing turkey here, right? Her shoulders relaxed. Of course. I've invited the Hendersons, the Morales family. Maybe 10 people total. You don't mind, do you? This house loves a crowd, I said softly. Your mother always said that. She smiled, moved closer, and hugged me. It'll be a real celebration, Dad. I smiled back, holding her for a moment longer than usual, knowing that, this time, I was the one in control. It really will be, she said, but I saw the lie flicker in her eyes. I said nothing. That night, I lay in bed, listening to the muffled hum of their voices through the wall. Planning. Always planning. My phone buzzed. A text from Mark Jenkins. Asterisk inspection scheduled tomorrow. 10 a.m. buyer's attorney drafting contracts. You'll need to be available to sign by noon. Asterisk. I typed back, I'll be there, then deleted the message and the entire thread. Staring at the ceiling, I thought, asterisk, tomorrow the house goes on the market. Tomorrow their plan crumbles. Asterisk. But they couldn't know. Not yet. Footsteps passed in the hallway. Jennifer, probably checking if my light was off. I closed my eyes, breathing slow and steady. The steps paused outside my door, then continued. My eyes opened again in the dark. Hashtag part 4, playing blind. My alarm didn't wake me. I hadn't slept. Every hour, I checked my phone. Nothing from Mark, nothing from Rebecca. No problems meant everything was still moving forward. At 7 a.m., I heard the shower start in Jennifer's bathroom. Then Brian's alarm buzzed through the wall. Everything ordinary, except today, strangers would walk through the house Jennifer thought she would inherit. I dressed carefully, button-down shirt, pressed slacks. Not too formal, not suspicious, just a man with morning errands. In the kitchen, I made breakfast, toast, eggs, coffee. Jennifer came down at 7:30, already scrolling through her phone. Morning, sweetheart, I said. Big plans today? She barely looked up. Work until 3, then grocery shopping for Thanksgiving. You? Errands in town, I replied. Might grab lunch with an old colleague, Tom Bradley. Remember him? We worked on the Henderson Tower project together. Mitchum, she murmured, half listening. At 9:40, I met Mark Jenkins at a small coffee shop 3 blocks from the house. The inspector was with him, middle-aged, clipboard in hand, professional to the core. I handed over my house key, reviewed the inspection checklist, and signed the preliminary forms. Buyer loves the neighborhood, Mark said. He's serious and ready to move fast. Good, I said, watching the inspector head toward his truck, toward my home. Keep it quiet, I added. Mark nodded. Always do. By noon, I sat in Mark's office signing the final sale documents, purchase agreement, disclosures, transfer authorization. The sale price, $680,000. Closing date, November 25th, the day before Thanksgiving. Each signature felt like a strike against Jennifer's plan. At Chase Bank, the manager helped me finalize the wire transfer details and open a safe deposit box. I moved my emergency cash there, and something else I prepared the night before, a fake will. Typed on my old typewriter, the paper deliberately coffee-stained, the signature slightly shaky. I'd practiced until it looked real. I leave my entire estate, including house and all assets, to my beloved daughter, Jennifer. Dated 3 years ago. I placed it in my home safe where she'd be sure to find it. Let her think she'd already won. This is a large transfer, the bank manager said. $640,000 after fees. You sure you want it all in checking? We can offer investment options. Checking, I said. I need immediate access. And this account must stay completely separate from my others. All statements go to a P.O. box, not my home address. He nodded, understanding more than he let on. At 2 p.m., I drove past the house. The inspector's car and Mark's truck sat in the driveway. I circled the block twice before parking down the street to wait. They left at 2:30. I gave it another 15 minutes before heading inside. Jennifer was in my study, rifling through my desk drawers. She jumped when she heard me. Oh, Dad, I didn't hear you come in. She gestured toward the desk. These Thanksgiving invitations need stamps, and I thought you kept them here. I saw the faint movement of papers, the jar she'd shifted. Stamps? No. Honey, I said evenly. They're in the kitchen. Third drawer down. Same place they've always been. Don't you remember? Right. Of course. She smiled too quickly. Just forgot. I'll check there. I watch her closely. Looking for something else? You seem nervous. She laughed, fake too high. No, just busy. So much to plan. Are you okay with 10 guests? Maybe 12. However many you want, sweetheart. This is your celebration too. She left quickly. I heard her rummaging in the kitchen for show. When Brian came home at 6, I was in the living room, pretending to read the newspaper. Robert, where were you all day? He asked. Jennifer said you were gone for hours. Errands. Bank. Lunch with Tom Bradley. Remember Tom from my engineering days? I flipped a page. Just talked about old projects. Nothing exciting. Tom Bradley. Huh? He repeated, committing it to memory. I could almost see the gears turning, planning to verify it. Let him. Tom was real enough, long retired in Tucson. The lie had truth to stand on. That night, after they went to bed, I opened my safe. I removed my real will, the one leaving everything to charity, as Emily and I had agreed, and replaced it with a fake. I said exactly where Jennifer would find it if she searched again, and I knew she would. Later, through the thin walls, I heard her voice on the phone. Found his will in the safe, she whispered, excited. Everything to me, just like Mom promised. The house, the accounts, all of it. A pause, then laughter. No, he's clueless. Still planning the turkey menu. I stood in the hallway, listening to her betrayal echo through the quiet house. My phone buzzed again. Mark Jenkins. Closing confirmed. Wednesday, 2 p.m. buyer's funds already in escrow. It was happening. Wednesday at 2 p.m., the house would be gone, and Jennifer's entire scheme with it. I typed back, see you Wednesday, deleted the message, and walked past Jennifer's door. Her voice carried once more. By Friday, we'll have him declared incompetent. The attorney said it's just a formality. My hand tightened around the doorknob. Friday, they were moving faster than I'd thought. I stepped into my room and closed the door quietly. Tomorrow was Sunday. Monday, Thanksgiving prep. Tuesday, final details. Wednesday, changed everything. I didn't turn on the lights. Moved through pre-dawn darkness like a ghost in what was no longer my home. 2 suitcases waited by the door, clothes, documents, photos of Emily. The essentials of a man who'd learned to travel light. The closing went through Wednesday. The wire hit my account Thursday morning, $640,000. Clean, final, irreversible. Now came the hardest part, walking away. It was 5:47 a.m. Jennifer and Brian wouldn't wake for another hour. Plenty of time. I carried the suitcases downstairs. They felt lighter than I expected. At the bottom, I paused, listening to the old house breathe. Every creak was familiar. 40 years of memories lived in these walls. The banister Emily wanted replaced, the hardwood floors we refinished together, the kitchen where Jennifer took her first steps. I let the memories settle, then kept moving. In my study, I opened the desk drawer, the same one Jennifer had searched twice this week, and placed an envelope inside. On it, I'd written in bold black letters, "Jennifer, read this." Inside was a single sheet of paper I'd written by lamplight an hour earlier. Asterisk, you wanted documents? Here's the only one that matters. Asterisk. Purchase agreement, November 24th, 2024. The house is no longer mine, which means it's not yours either. I hope your Thanksgiving plans go exactly as you designed them. The father you wanted to declare insane. I attached a copy of the sale contract, dated, signed, notarized. Before sealing the envelope, I photographed everything with my phone. Insurance. Evidence. Proof of my state of mind at that moment. Calm, rational, deliberate. At 6:15, I loaded the suitcases into the trunk, started the engine, and let it warm up. I looked back at the house one last time. Dark windows, silent walls, and the porch light Jennifer had forgotten to turn off the night before. Then I backed out of the driveway and didn't look in the rearview mirror. Phoenix was just waking when I reached downtown. The Hilton Garden and clerk looked surprised to see someone checking in at 7:30 on Thanksgiving morning. "That's unusual," she said cheerfully. "Family gathering later?" I managed a small smile. "Something like that, though I won't be attending." She looked momentarily puzzled, but stayed professional. "Well, enjoy your stay, Mr. Gray. How long will you be with us?" "As long as it takes." I paid cash for 3 nights in advance. The room was standard, desk, chair, bed, and a window overlooking the city. I unpacked methodically, hung my clothes, arranged my medications on the bathroom counter, plugged in the phone charger, and set up a small command center on the desk. Rebecca's number was on speed dial. My bank statements were organized in a folder, along with a list of next steps. At 9, I called Rebecca Pierce. "It's done. I'm out. The notes are in the desk. She'll find them when the guests arrive and wonder where I am." "Robert, are you safe? Do you need anything?" "I'm fine. Better than fine." I looked out at the Phoenix skyline. For the first time in 2 years, I was in control of my own life. The morning passed slowly. I sat by the window, watching Thanksgiving traffic, families heading to dinners, people carrying pies and casseroles, moving through their holiday routines. At noon, I stared at my phone, waiting for what I knew was coming. The discovery, the call, the explosion. Part of me wanted to switch the phone off, disappear completely. But no, I needed to hear it. Needed to hear the moment she realized everything she had plotted for had vanished. My finger hovered over the power button. Then I pulled back. Let it ring. Let her panic. Let her feel what betrayal sounds like from the other side. At 2:03, the phone lit up. Jennifer Mobile. I let it ring 4 times before answering. "Dad, where are you?" Her voice carried false sweetness, already strained. "The guests are here. The Hendersons just arrived. Everyone's asking about you. I'm exactly where I need to be, Jennifer. Away from you." Her tone sharpened with panic. "What? Dad, this isn't funny. You promised you'd be here. We have turkey, we have. Check my desk drawer. Top right. There's an envelope with your name on it. Read it. Then you'll understand exactly where things stand." "Desk drawer? What are you talking about?" Hashtag vindication. On January 22nd, Dr. Mitchell's report was filed with the court. I sat across from Rebecca in her office as she read it aloud. Subject demonstrates superior cognitive function for age. Recent actions, selling property and relocating, show clear, rational planning. No evidence of dementia, confusion, or impairment. Subject's decision-making capacity is fully intact. Rebecca looked up with a rare smile. Robert, this is complete vindication. Mitchell's report destroys their case. Judge Hayes will dismiss. No question. Good, I said. Now we file our countersuit. I want compensation for 2 years of them living rent-free in my house, and damages for defamation, false police reports, and emotional distress. She hesitated. That's aggressive. Are you sure you want to go that far? They tried to steal my life, I said quietly. Now they can pay for it, literally. Hashtag the hearing. The hearing came quickly. Judge Hayes sat behind his bench, reading with obvious impatience. After reviewing Dr. Mitchell's comprehensive evaluation, this court finds no evidence of mental incompetency. Mr. Gray's actions, while perhaps unusual, were rational responses to perceived threats. Petitioner's motion is denied. Case dismissed. Marcus Webb stood. Your Honor, we request. The judge raised his hand. Mr. Webb, your client has wasted this court's time with baseless accusations. Be grateful I'm not sanctioning her for frivolous litigation. We're done here. In the hallway afterward, Rebecca opened her briefcase. Jennifer's next move, she said, handing me a document. A civil lawsuit, claiming you financially exploited yourself. Creative but doomed. I laughed, cold, humorless. She doesn't know when to stop. People rarely do, Rebecca said, when they're losing everything. I pulled out my phone and played the recording for November 17th. Jennifer's voice cold and careless. Asterisk, the old man doesn't suspect a thing. Asterisk, Rebecca's expression hardened. That's conspiracy to commit fraud. We can file a criminal referral. Do it, I said. No more defense. Only offense now. Hashtag the final turn. I walked out of the courthouse into the January cold. The dismissal should have felt like victory. Instead, it felt like intermission. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Mr. Gray, this is Officer Linda Martinez, Phoenix PD. We received a report that you've been making threatening calls to Jennifer Thompson. She's filed for a restraining order. We need you to come to the station for questioning. I stopped on the courthouse steps. Officer, I haven't contacted Jennifer since Thanksgiving. I can prove it. Phone records, witness statements. I understand, sir, but we'll still need you to come in today, if possible. I closed my eyes. Jennifer wasn't just desperate. She was burning the earth behind her. Every legal door shut. She was resorting to false police reports and manufactured evidence. I texted Rebecca. Asterisk, they filed a false harassment claim. Police want a statement. Asterisk. Her reply came instantly. Asterisk, don't go alone. I'll meet you there in 30 minutes. And Robert, it's time to destroy them completely. Asterisk. I looked at that message. Time to destroy them. Yes, it was. Hashtag the police station. Officer Martinez led us into the interview room. Sterile white walls, a metal table, and a single camera mounted in the corner. Rebecca set her briefcase down with quiet precision. Mr. Gray, Martinez began, Jennifer Thompson claims you've called her 17 times in the past 2 weeks, leaving threatening voicemails. She's requested an emergency restraining order. Before I could respond, Rebecca slid a folder across the table. Officer, these are Mr. Gray's phone records from AT&T. 0 calls, 0 texts, 0 contact of any kind with Jennifer or Brian Thompson since November 27th. Martinez flipped through the pages. Her professional skepticism shifted into visible irritation. Ms. Thompson gave us specific dates, January 8th, 9th, and 12th. These records show no activity. Because her claims are fabricated, Rebecca said, voice sharp as glass. This is her 3rd false accusation: theft, harassment, and mental incompetence. There's a clear pattern of malicious intent. Martinez exhaled. Mr. Gray, you're free to go. And for the record, I hate when people waste department resources on personal vendettas. The investigation collapsed within hours. Hotel security footage showed I'd never left Phoenix during those supposed threatening visits. The manager confirmed my whereabouts. Martinez's report concluded. Asterisk, complainant's allegations demonstrably false. No evidence of harassment. Recommend no charges. Asterisk, Rebecca immediately requested a copy for court use. Another piece of evidence for malicious prosecution. The counterattack. On February 1st, Rebecca filed my countersuit in Maricopa County Superior Court. $50,000 in damages for defamation and emotional distress. $48,000 in back rent for 2 years of unpaid occupancy. Criminal referral for medical document forgery. Brian panicked when he was served. He called me directly, bypassing all attorneys. Robert, let's be reasonable, he pleaded. We both made mistakes. You sold a house. Fine, that's done. But this lawsuit, it'll bankrupt us. $20,000. That's everything we have. Take it, and let's end this. I pressed record on my phone. Everything you have. I said, that's interesting, Brian. 2 months ago, you thought you'd have $680,000. My house, my money, my life. And now you're offering me $20,000 like it's a favor. He hesitated. We were wrong, okay? Is that what you want to hear? We were wrong. I didn't answer. Some truths don't need acknowledgement. They only need consequence. No, I said quietly. What I want is exactly what I'm getting, justice. See you in court. March 15th. The courtroom felt colder than usual. Judge Sharon Morrison presided as we presented months of carefully built evidence. A timeline stretched across a poster board detailing their 2-year scheme, authenticated documents proving forgery, recordings showing deliberate deception, and psychiatric evaluations confirming my mental clarity. Judge Morrison looked through the files before speaking. Mr. Gray, I've reviewed your evidence. 2 years of free housing while plotting to defraud you of your property, forged medical documents, false police reports. The defendant's conduct is egregious. Marcus Webb tried to interrupt. Your Honor, my clients were only concerned for Mr. Gray's welfare. The judge cut him off sharply. Counselor, your clients forged a doctor's signature. That's not concern, that's fraud. Potentially criminal fraud. Rebecca presented our claim methodically. Your Honor, the defendants exploited Mr. Gray's generosity, living rent-free for 24 months at a market value of $2,000 per month, then attempted to steal his home through a fraudulent guardianship. We're seeking $48,000 in compensation plus damages. The judge nodded. Compensation is clearly warranted. Mr. Gray, you provided housing, utilities, and support for 2 years. Yes, Your Honor, I said, my voice steady. Because Jennifer is my daughter. I thought I was helping family. I didn't realize I was housing thieves. Judge Morrison closed the file. Judgment for the plaintiff, Robert Gray. The defendants, Jennifer and Brian Thompson, are jointly and severally liable for $48,000 in unpaid rent and $50,000 in emotional distress damages, total $98,000. Additionally, I'm referring the forged documents to the district attorney for criminal investigation. Court adjourned. Jennifer stood trembling. Your Honor, we don't have. Then arrange a payment plan, Morrison said firmly. Or face collections. You should have considered that before committing fraud. Next case. In a hallway, Rebecca and I stood by the window. Beyond the glass, Jennifer and Brian argued in silence, gestures sharp and frantic. Marcus Webb walked away, abandoning them. They'll file for bankruptcy, Rebecca murmured. You'll probably never see that $98,000. I don't need the money, I said. I just needed them to lose completely. And they have. She studied me. You know this will destroy them. Their credit, their reputation, their marriage. I looked at Jennifer through the glass. They tried to destroy me first. Quietly, with smiles and forged papers. I just did it legally, in open court. The difference is I won. Outside. The March wind carried the last traces of winter. I stood on the same courthouse steps where months earlier I'd been accused of harassment. Now, I held a court judgment worth $98,000. Money they didn't have, but proof I'd survived. Rebecca touched my arm. You won completely. But Robert, they're not done being your problem. Bankruptcy proceedings, possible criminal charges, they'll be in the system for years. You'll still be connected to them. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. A photo. Jennifer and Brian's house with a for sale sign in the yard. The message read, "Lost our home. Lost everything. Hope you're happy. This isn't over." I showed Rebecca. She frowned. "That sounds like a threat." "We should." I deleted the message. "Let them threaten. They have nothing left to hurt me with. I'm free. They're buried." I started down the courthouse steps. Rebecca called out, "Where are you going?" "To find a house in Sedona," I said without turning back. "Somewhere peaceful. Somewhere far from people who lie with smiles." Epilogue. April arrived with harsh clarity. I rented a small one-bedroom in Sedona. Mountain views, temporary peace, while I searched for something permanent. Rebecca forwarded me the bankruptcy filings, Chapter 7. Total liabilities, $340,000. Assets, nearly nothing. My $98,000 judgment sat at the top of their debt list like a crown on ruins. Rebecca's email read, "They'll discharge most of it. You might recover 10 cents on the dollar, maybe less. Want to object?" I typed back, "No. Let them drown." The money had never been the point. Mid-April, another email. Jennifer's employer, an insurance company, had terminated her. Court records were public now. Company policy forbade employing anyone involved in fraud cases. Her unemployment claim was denied. Termination for cause. By early May, Brian's consulting business collapsed. Clients discovered his legal history online and cut ties. His LinkedIn profile read "Seeking Opportunities," code for unemployed. Rebecca's investigator reported they were 3 months behind on rent. Late May, a check arrived from the bankruptcy trustee, $347.18. The memo read Gray versus Thompson, partial distribution. I framed it and hung it in my apartment. Not for the money, for the proof. June brought more updates. Divorce papers. Rebecca forwarded the email. Jennifer claimed Brian pressured her into the guardianship scam. Brian claimed she planned it all. Rebecca asked, "What do you think?" "I think they're both liars blaming each other for getting caught." By mid-July, their bankruptcy discharge was final. My $98,000 judgment, 96% uncollectible. Total recovered, $3,800. Rebecca sighed. "That's all you'll get. They have nothing left." "Perfect," I said. "That was always the goal. Leave them with nothing." I created a folder on my laptop titled Consequences. Inside, I saved every document: termination letters, bankruptcy records, divorce decrees, payment receipts. Not out of revenge, but to document the complete collapse I'd engineered. In May, while running errands in Phoenix, I drove past their old apartment. Their truck was gone, repossessed. A "for rent" sign hung outside their unit. Evicted. I felt nothing. Late June, an envelope arrived at my hotel, Jennifer's handwriting. A letter, tear-stained. She begged forgiveness. Claimed Brian had manipulated her. Asked if I could help with rent. I read it once, then fed it into my shredder. Watched the strips fall. By July, I began house hunting seriously. 5 properties. All small, quiet, efficient. No room for guests. No space for people who called themselves family but acted like predators. Every time a bankruptcy payment arrived, 3 in total, I donated an equal amount to an elder abuse prevention charity. $347 became $350. $892 became $900, turning their debt into protection for others. Mid-July, Rebecca called. "Brian's attorney says your vindictive lawsuit ruined their lives. Claims you could have accepted the $20,000 settlement, that you're the villain now." I replied by email, "Vindictive? I used the legal system as it was designed to remedy fraud. They destroyed their lives the day they forged a doctor's signature. I simply ensured there were consequences." Late July, another voicemail. Jennifer again. "Dad, it's me. I know you don't want to talk, but we're being evicted. Brian's gone. I don't know what to do. I'm sorry. Please, maybe loan me a few thousand to get back on my feet. I'm your daughter. Please." Her voice broke into sobs. I deleted the message. "You stopped being my daughter when you called me the old man and plotted to cage me. Actions have consequences. You taught me that." Rebecca's final update came weeks later. Bankruptcy discharge is official. Jennifer kept her 15-year-old Camry, her only exempt asset. Brian kept nothing. They're divorced. She's in Tucson, working retail. He's in California, living with his brother. You sound satisfied, she said. I sound finished. There's a difference. That evening, my phone buzzed. A text from a new number. Jennifer again. Dad, I see you're in Sedona. Buying a new house? After everything, you could get a fresh start, and I'm stuck in debt, working retail. How's that fair? I read it twice, started typing, then deleted the draft and blocked the number. Fair. She wanted to talk about fair. Fair was 40 years of providing for her. Fair was opening my home for 2 years. Fair was trust. She gambled on my death and lost. Now, she lived with the consequences. That wasn't unfair. That was arithmetic. Late July evening, I sat on my small balcony, watching the sun paint Sedona's red rocks in impossible colors. My phone showed 3 new block numbers, Jennifer trying different phones. Each block felt like closing a door. Final door. Permanent. My laptop glowed softly beside me, a property listing. 2-bedroom home in West Sedona. $320,000. Mountain view. Quarter-acre lot. Manageable. Mine. The realtor's email waited. Owner accepted your offer. Escrow opens tomorrow. Congratulations on your new home. My finger hovered over the reply. Tomorrow, I'd start the paperwork. A new foundation. But tonight, I just wanted to sit with this silence. The space between destruction and creation. The phone buzzed again, Jennifer's 4th attempt. I didn't even look. Just watched the sun sink behind Thunder Mountain. Behind me, the laptop chimed. New email. Final bankruptcy distribution. $14,732. I smiled. They were sending me money they didn't have, paying debts they couldn't afford, drowning in the consequences they'd built for themselves. And I was buying a house in the mountains. Alone. Exactly as planned. The phone buzzed again, a different pattern this time. Rebecca. I answered. Robert, I have news. The DA's office is moving forward. Criminal charges for the medical forgery. Brian's being indicted. Thought you should know. I looked out at the darkening sky. Even now, the consequences were still unfolding. August 28th. I stood in my new living room, empty except for a few boxes and streams of golden light spilling through the windows, painting red rock reflections across the bare walls. 2 days since closing. 2 days of sleeping on an air mattress, eating takeout, and unpacking the essentials of a life rebuilt from the ground up. My phone sat silently on the windowsill. No block numbers that morning. No more desperate calls from Jennifer. Maybe she'd finally accepted the permanent distance. Then it vibrated. I glanced down, expecting Rebecca with some final escrow paperwork. Instead, it was a notification from Wells Fargo. Wire transfer received. $2,400 from Jennifer Thompson. Memo. Final payment. Sold car. Please forgive me. I stared at the screen, felt nothing. Within minutes, I transferred the money to Arizona Elder Abuse Prevention. Moments later, another text appeared from an unknown number, Jennifer again, with yet another phone. Dad, I sent everything I have, $2,400. I sold my car. I'm taking the bus to work now. I need you to know I'm sorry. Can we talk, please? I read it once. Didn't respond. I took a screenshot and forwarded it to Rebecca. Document this. Evidence of continued contact attempts. That afternoon, the movers arrived with my new furniture. Simple, solid pieces, each one chosen for comfort and independence. I arranged my bedroom, set up a small office, created a home designed for one. No guest room, no accommodations for family, just my sanctuary. That evening, I sat on the back deck watching the sunset melt into the red rocks. My phone buzzed again. Another message from Jennifer. I see you read my text. I know you did. Just one conversation. I'll drive to Sedona. Please, Dad. I'm your daughter. My thumb hovered over the block contact button. Then I pressed it. I opened my phone settings, blocked all unknown numbers, and created a white list. Rebecca, my doctor, utilities, contractors. Everyone else, gone. Finally, I deleted Jennifer's contact completely. Her name vanished from my phone, erased. The next morning, I called Rebecca. She sent $2,400, I said. Sold her car. Wrote, please forgive me in the memo line. Rebecca's voice was soft. Robert, That's a significant sacrifice. She's working retail, has no car now, probably walking or taking the bus to work. Maybe she's genuinely. I cut her off. Genuinely sorry she got caught. Genuinely sorry she lost. Not genuinely sorry she tried. I'm donating it to elder abuse prevention. I added, let it protect someone else. You're sure? This could be your last chance to build a bridge. I'm not in the bridge business anymore, I said quietly. I build walls now. Strong ones. The delivery guy smiled as he adjusted the cushions on my couch. Nice place. You retiring here? Family nearby. I returned a polite smile. Retiring? Yes. Family? No, just me. Solo living, huh? Freedom. No one telling you what to do. Exactly, I said. No one taking what's mine either. At sunset, I stood on the deck again, reading Jennifer's final text aloud. I'm your daughter. Present tense. As if that were still true. As if signing fake medical documents, plotting guardianship, and stealing 2 years of my life hadn't already severed that bond. I whispered to the wind. You were my daughter. Past tense. You chose to end that. I'm just honoring your choice. That evening, Rebecca called again. Robert, Brian's indictment came through. 2 counts, forgery and attempted fraud. Trial's likely next spring. Jennifer might be called as a witness. Will you attend? No, I said. I don't need to see him in handcuffs. The system will handle it. I'm done watching them suffer. I'm not interested in their pain, only my peace. So, this is really over? You're closing this chapter? I closed it when I blocked her final number, I said. Now I'm just living the epilogue. That night, I unpacked the remaining boxes, clothes in the closet, dishes in the kitchen, photos of Emily on the mantel. But no photos of Jennifer. I'd removed her from my life, visually and emotionally. My home office came together next. Laptop facing the window view, files organized, Rebecca's number on speed dial, documents locked in a fireproof safe. Order, structure, control. At sunset, I walked the property line, a 1/4 acre of red rock and pinyon pines. For the first time in years, the silence felt pure. This was the first home in 5 years that was truly safe. No plotters, no predators, no family pretending love while planning theft. Then came one final act. From my pocket, I took the old house key from Phoenix, the last physical reminder of betrayal, and threw it off the deck into the canyon below. It disappeared among the rocks and brush. Gone. My phone buzzed one final time. Jennifer, again from another number. Dad, please. I'm begging. I have nothing. No car, no savings, no family. You're all I have left. One chance. That's all I ask. For a brief moment, I felt the old instinct, the father's urge to protect his daughter. Then I remembered November 17th, her voice whispering, the old man doesn't suspect a thing. I remembered the forged papers, the 2 years of lies. I didn't block this number. Not yet. Instead, I typed my reply. My first message to her in 9 months. You have exactly what you built. So do I. The difference is I built mine on truth. Goodbye, Jennifer. I hit send. Then I blocked the number. Turned off the phone completely. I stood on my deck as the sun sank behind Thunder Mountain, taking the last light with it. Somewhere in Tucson, Jennifer was probably crying. Somewhere in Los Angeles, Brian was probably meeting his criminal attorney. I felt nothing for either of them. Not satisfaction, not pity, nothing. They had become strangers, expensive strangers who taught me valuable lessons about trust and consequences, but strangers all the same. My phone stayed off. It would stay off until morning, maybe longer. Inside, boxes still needed unpacking. Pictures still needed hanging. Files still needed sorting. All of it was mine to handle, mine to build, mine to protect. No one to betray me. No one to plot against me. No one to call me the old man while forging my name. I locked the door, set the new alarm. New system, new codes, no access for anyone else. Then I stood in the center of my living room and listened. Perfect silence. Tomorrow, I'd unpack more boxes. Next week, I'd explore Sedona's trails. Next month, maybe join a woodworking class. The future stretched ahead. Mine to design, mine to build, mine to live. I'd started this story as a victim, ended it as an architect. They tried to bury me in paperwork and lies. Instead, I buried them in consequences and rose above the wreckage. The war was over, and I'd won. Not because I destroyed them, though I did, but because I built something they could never touch. A life without them. I turned off the lights. The house settled around me, safe, secure, silent. Mind out if you like this story. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below. To listen to the next story, click on the box on the left. Thank you for watching.